Hello, good morning. I cannot hear you.
Hello.
I can hear you. Hello.
Yeah. All right. Good morning. Very good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you? So we'll just
I'm good.
and then we'll begin.
Yeah. I hope my audio is clear.
Yes, it's clear.
You're all right.
Yes.
And let me just try sharing screen once.
Sure.
Okay. Already 75 participants.
Right.
All right. Great. Excellent.
All right. So I'll just wait for a minute more.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'll just go live on our Facebook page as well. So we'll be live on our Facebook page. So because there's a limited number.
I know.
People can join us on Facebook too.
Already 81.
Yes.
Somebody sent, can I be sent the link of this meeting? One question. Okay, so you'll introduce me in the beginning and then I'll
Yes.
take it. Okay.
Right. So we are live on our Facebook page as well.
All right.
Okay, so I think we have a great number to begin with. All right. So hello, good morning. This is Devika Agarwal from the Next Genius Scholarship Program, and I welcome all of you to the Profile Building Webinar Series Day 3. And thank you for joining us on a Sunday. So to begin with, here's a little about Next Genius. We are a registered charitable trust in India, and we help undergraduate students to pursue their undergraduation dream in the United States. And we also help them pursue outstanding scholarships at our Next Genius colleges. As of now, our colleges have awarded 117 students with full tuition scholarships across India, and they are studying at one of our partner colleges. So for the year 2020 as well, our program has begun. And so if you're in your grade 12, you can also be in your gap year. I recommend you to go to our website, read and learn more about our colleges and apply to us. Okay, so I now welcome Mr. Abhinav Garg to give us an enlightened talk on SAT and paper, and so much that we know the need and importance of how relevant it stands today, the importance of it, and much more. So over to you, sir.
All right, very good morning, everyone. How are you doing today? Thanks for signing in on a Sunday, and I can see a full house here already. So those who are not able to join us can join us on the live Facebook streaming page. Well, my name is Abhinav Garg, and I'm one of the founders of this small organization called SAT and Paper. Well, I think let me start with a word about myself, and then we'll talk about the agenda for the day today. So this is what we are. Bespoke. Wait. Yeah, I'm not sure. Just give me a moment.
Yeah.
Okay, just give me a moment. Yeah. Okay. Just a moment, please. What's gone wrong? Yeah. I hope you can all see my screen now. Let me scroll one backward. Okay. So that's how we call ourselves, Bespoke Tutoring. And I'm just one of the founders, the other one being my better half, Monica Garg, who will not be a part of the webinar today. So let me start with a word about myself. Well, I'm an engineer and MBA by qualification, but all my life I've spent it in test prep. So completing almost 25 years now, I think another 2 months down the line. So I'll be a veteran of 25 years of test prep experience. What do we do right now? We offer live one-on-one tutoring for SAT, ACT, SAT subject tests, and AP exams. So one thing common to us in the Next Genius is that we are completely focused towards the undergraduate admissions abroad. The standardized tests, they form a very important component of your application for the college that you're applying to. This is probably one very important piece of data that you need to furnish. Also, it is It is one common benchmark that admission officers can apply to students from across the globe. So we started, I've been working in all domains of test prep, including the CAT, which is the Indian MBA, and which is a test which is very similar to the SAT. The law entrances here, the IIT JEE, the medical. I've worked in all departments, and probably 25 years I've worked into test prep, of which a good 18 years have been entrepreneurial. So we started, we never wanted SAT to be a commercial venture at the outset. We started training our own daughter in 2015, who was supposed to take the SAT for the first administration of the new SAT. And she got a phenomenal score, and her counselors encouraged us to do it commercially. And hola, from the time we started, I think in the first 3 months we were sold out, because we were offering one-on-one prep, which was the key here. So sold out in the first 3 months of our prep, and we knew that, we will have to expand it. So over the next 4 years, I went about looking for the best people that I had come across in the last 20 years of my test prep career. Today, we are a team of 35 plus tutors, and we serve students from 30 plus countries across the globe, right from a Japan in the east to a Mexico in the west. In India, our reach, spans about 55 odd cities. Just to give you an idea, we are based at Delhi NCR, so we're based in Noida, but the number of students who sign on with us from Mumbai is much higher than what sign on with us from Delhi. So, again, we are not limited by the geographic boundaries as such. So that's just a small piece about me. Sorry. So over the next half an hour or so, I'll be taking you, at length through the kind of work that we're doing, through the kind of courses that we are offering, how they could benefit you as a student. And of course, I'm told that there are counselors also on this webinar. So towards the end, I'm going to address them also specifically as to how we can help them. And towards the end, if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to take these. So I assume, that there are students from grade 9, grade 10, grade 11, and grade 12 on this webinar today. So I'll try and ensure that I'm able to, address all these rather diverse concerns at the same time. So I'll try and give you a testing timeline also. So what do we offer? We offer one-on-one prep. So all our courses are personalized, highly customized. That's why we call them as bespoke. So we offer courses for the SAT, the ACT. I hope all of you know that as a student, you need to do one of these to support your applications, right? And then of course, we offer the SAT subject tests, which is not a mandatory requirement, but yes, a lot of students take these tests to build a competitive profile. And of course, we also offer a few of the advanced placement tests, which students use for multiple reasons. But by and large, given the time constraint, I think I would keep the advanced placements out of the discussion for most of the session today. We're going to focus on the first three, the SAT, the ACT, the SAT subject tests. Fair. So I think you can keep on, sending in your questions to me. I'll be able to take them up towards the end. Okay, so here we go. So what should be an ideal testing timeline? You can start building your, standardized test profile right from grade 9. So grade 9 students, so many of them ask me, what can we do at this stage? So many of them want to start preparing for the SAT in grade 9. Trust me, that is not the way forward. This is something you should never do. Take my advice, until and unless you are extra brilliant and you can take the SAT or ACT in grade 10, do not start preparing until the end of your grade 10. So the right time to start preparing for your SAT or ACT is the day your class 10 exams end, right? It is not a huge preparation like the IIT JEE that would last for a couple of years. This is about 4 or 5 months at max. So grade 9, you should start by taking an AP or two. Now there are APs, they come in all varieties, the advanced placement tests, but there are the simpler ones, the more theory based, which you can take as early as grade 9. Now what are these APs that you can target in grade 9? So the easier APs, I would vouch for psychology, which is a very simple AP, very theoretical AP. Grade 9 kids can do it. Human geography is something which can be done early. For those who are mathematically oriented, statistics is a beautiful AP to take at the early stages, grade 9 or grade 10. So between grade 9 and grade 10, what you should be focusing on doing is doing maybe, about 2 or 3 APs, which your counselors will be able to tell you have a huge, plus to your profile when you apply to the colleges. Grade 10, take the PSAT without prep. Guys, please do not spend time, energy, effort, money preparing for the PSAT. This test has no relevance. PSAT is administered in most schools in grade 10, and you can, just take it for practice, nothing beyond that. Yes, those of you who are US citizens, the PSAT also couples up as the NMSQT, and that makes you eligible for earning scholarships in the US. But please be very clear about your facts. This PSAT is the one that you'll take in grade 11. So that means a PSAT which is taken in grade 9 or in grade 10, the scores would not be reported anywhere. These scores are of no significance except for the fact, that they give you an early exposure to the test, what it looks like, but they're not going to help you in any way. So no point spending time, energy, effort towards a PSAT, right? Grade 11, you should take the SAT or the ACT in the first half. Now this is important. This is extremely important. So students want to, postpone the SAT, ACT to a later date, which is not really done, because the deeper you get into your grade 11, irrespective of the curriculum that you are in, whether you're in IB or you're doing a GCSE, A-level, CBSE, ISC, whatever, the deeper you get into your grade 11, the school is going to get very, very demanding. So the most ideal time to start your SAT, ACT prep is the day you end your grade 10, and this is typically a 4 to 5 months prep. So within the first half of your grade 11, you should be done with the SAT. In the second half of your grade 11, focus on the tougher APs. So you could look at something like a calculus AB or a calculus BC. You could look at some of the sciences. If you are any Indian student who has done an AP US history is going to get immediate attention from the admission officers in the US. It shows a very strong inclination that you have to go and study in the US, because otherwise I don't see any reason why an Indian student would be studying US history as such. And then grade 12, you should be focusing on your subject tests. So typically subject tests, normally 2 are recommended. And depends upon your counselor. I would not be the body to be talking about those, but if at all you have to take these subject tests, try not taking them in grade 11, try taking them in the first half of grade 12. So immediately as your grade 11 exams end, you should be taking those tests. All right, so the SAT and ACT is what would form the bulk of my discussion today. Some fundamental differences between the two tests, I have not put that on slide. The SAT is a paper and pencil based test and is conducted 5 times a year in India or internationally. The ACT is a digital test which is taken from a computer screen, but at a center. You cannot take the ACT from your home, right? But the difference is you'll be walking into a center, so there'll be a computer screen over there from where you are going to be taking the ACT, right? It is given 7 times a year. So you've got more testing opportunities with the ACT. So coming down to our courses, primarily this is whatever I talk about, it applies to almost all the courses, right? So I'll be telling you at length about the kind of courses that we offer, how the curricula have been designed. So we deliver all our programs one-on-one and online. And unlike the COVID times today, where most of my counterparts have been forced to switch to the online medium and are doing classes on Zoom, we have always been like that. So for over 4 years, every single class delivered on our system has been on Zoom, has been one-on-one, has been online. So nothing changes for us with the COVID, right? So that's the first thing. Second, as compared to any of our counterparts, we are far better experienced, far more adept with this system of working. And this system, this medium of working is very different than actually going to a center and studying over there. This is, I'm sure, I mean, as parents, as students, this is something that you would be realizing already. So one major difference is that the online one-on-one classes are far more efficient than what being inside a batch is. So we normally assign a efficiency factor of 2.5 to these sessions, which means 1 hour of online session is roughly equivalent to about 2.5 hours of in the classroom class. And finally, I could see the government of India taking cognizance of that a few days ago and coming out with guidelines for the online sessions, saying that students who are in schools cannot be given online classes for more than 4 periods of 30 to 45 minutes a day. So that's one. So one-on-one online, that's our USP. Delivered with a flexible schedule, that's our another USP. So we mostly work with kids from IB curriculum who have an amazingly busy, work day. So we don't fix schedules for you. And it really works beautifully for my students. Classes are scheduled for each week is generated a week in advance and is based on mutual convenience. That means you have a lot of flexibility about when you do choose these classes. It's not 100% flexible. That means you can't really take a class on demand whenever you want. It's not like that. But you have a fair amount of flexibility within an 8 to 9 hour window. Third, customized curriculum. So, we completely understand, and this is one of the founding principles of the organization, that each student is unique, has a unique learning style, has a unique pace at which he or she would want to work, and has to be treated very differently, has to be paced very differently. So we customize the curriculum for each individual student, looking at what are the hotspots where you need to put in more effort, what are the areas that the student is comfortable with, where you can rather cruise through easily without spending a lot of time. So it is never one size fits all for us. So I mean, it's a completely customized curriculum for each individual student. Well, this is an interesting age these kids are in, midway through the teenage, and any parents on this webinar would share with me, the challenge in raising teenagers. So they've grown up, but they've not grown up enough. They can take care of themselves, but they cannot take care of themselves enough. So in my opinion, I mean, I think the parents are an extremely important component of this entire universe. And keeping this fact in mind, we keep them in the loop always. So my connect as an organization, I think, is equally distributed to the student and the parent. The other thing, we have something called as a prep manager here, who's like a volley. I mean, who would not be delivering any classes, but would be, doing a lot of coordination for the student, keeping a tab on what they're doing, keeping a tab on their timelines, keeping a tab on their requirements, doing back and forth with the tutors and, arranging the support for them, scheduling their classes, looking at the last minute changes and all these things. Then of course, the programs come with comprehensive content support, as in everything that you need in terms of content is supplied by us, whether it is books or it is assignments or it is short papers or it is long papers. In terms of papers, we use only authentic SATs and ACTs. So we don't use anything which is called as a mock paper or something like that. And it's comprehensive. It's more than what they'll ever need. Also for the SAT, for my students in India, it is delivered through a physical hard copy courier, delivered right to your doorstep. For my students outside India or for the ACT students, the contents are shared in the soft copies. Okay, one last thing, our clear theory and philosophy, and this is one part which is making us extremely popular in the US of late, is teach first, test later. Whereas if you talk about the SAT and the ACT, it's a simple test of math and English, maybe some sciences on the ACT, data comprehension. But if you go deeper into it, it's very different from what they've been studying at school. So rather than going the US tutors way, where they test first and teach later. So typical US system of education would start by giving a student a mock test on day one and working backwards. We work forward. So we take them almost through a two and a half a month of prep module before we start testing them. I can see a lot of questions rolling in. So I think what I'll do is I'll move through it. Midway, I'll take a small gap and answer a few of those questions, and then we'll move again. Would that be right, Devika?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. So we teach first and we test later, right? How it works. So we would always start with a diagnostic test until and unless you've done a real SAT or ACT and want to repeat the test, then things are different, then may waive off the condition for the diagnostic test. Otherwise, we're going to start off with a diagnostic test here. I can again see lots of questions, about 26 of them. I think wait, I'll complete with the presentation and then come to these questions. And just one question, Devika, if I ask you, if people raise hands, what am I supposed to do here?
No, I think they are just, getting into notice that they might have been posted some questions. So
okay, fair enough. So I'll answer the questions here.
Okay. Yeah, so they can post it in the Q&A box.
Okay, fair enough. So we'll always start with the diagnostic test, right? Because I told you in the beginning, there are two tests here. One is called the SAT, one is called the ACT. Guys and girls, please do not go with peer pressure. Please don't tell me, I think ACT is correct for me. We don't go that way. Let data decide. So we'll always start with a full diagnostic test for the SAT and a full diagnostic test for the ACT. And based on your performance on those two diagnostic tests and based on your experience through these diagnostic tests, we would try to make the right test choice for you. Of course, we'll take, your experiences also into consideration as you do that. Now, post the time you've done the diagnostic test with us, we are going to schedule a demo class for you, which is about a 45-minute to 1 hour interaction where we discuss your test choices, where we tell you about the programs, how exactly they'll proceed. And it is mandatory for either of the parents to attend that demo class with the student. Once post the demo class, you've signed on with us, we'll be sending you the complete content either on courier or on email, and we are set to start with classes. Now, every time you're given a class here, we're going to give you assignments to solve. Each assignment comes with a unique deadline, which may be 24, 48, or 72 hours. Within the specified deadline, the students are supposed to attempt the assignment, complete it, click a picture, and put it to a WhatsApp group that we have created specifically for them. So in my system, there's a unique dedicated WhatsApp group for each individual student. On this group, we're going to have all the tutors, typically 3 to 4, 3 for the SAT, 4 for the ACT. We're going to have a prep manager who is a coordinator for the entire prep. We're going to have one evaluator, and we make it mandatory for the parents to be present on the WhatsApp group, right? So you simply attempt the assignments, click a picture, put it to the WhatsApp group. Overnight, we will evaluate the assignments, we'll put them back on the group, and the next class we'll start with your doubts. So this process continues for about 8 to 10 weeks, which is the kind of time, that we need to finish off a basic curriculum, a basic module with all of you. Post the completion of stage 1, as you enter into stage 2, we start giving you mock papers. Right, so these mock papers are remotely proctored as you attempt them for the SAT. So they are fixed time affairs, they're done on weekend mornings, and the tests are then reviewed so as to figure out where the gaps are and what we can do to push the scores further. For the ACT, the tests are done on the digital testing platform. I find it noteworthy to mention that the ACT went digital in September of 2018, and our digital testing platform was launched in July of 2018. Ahead of the first digital ACT. We were the pioneers across Asia to launch this, and even now, after multiple people have done that, I think our testing platform continues to be the best across Asia in terms of simulating the real testing experience for the students. Sorry. Last but not the least, as I told you earlier, we believe in keeping the parents in the loop always. So there are frequent PTMs here. I mean, typically 2 to 3 during the entire course module, where we sit down with the student and the parent, just like a school PTM works, except the fact that this one is done online and can be done at any time of the day, practically, with a mentor. So we review your prep, what has been done so far, what remains to be done, what are the areas of concern, what is it that needs to be done further. I mean, so it's a phenomenal tool for keeping my parent completely involved in the prep. Also, please know that since the parents are part of the WhatsApp group, they have got access to data on a real-time basis. All right, let's move on. What happened here? Why? Okay. Yeah. So key considerations. A lot of students ask me, how long should I prep for the SAT? Start with at least 4 months to spare. Start with at least 4 months to spare. So I'll share something interesting with you. For our last 2 years of students that we worked with, we did some backplotting. We went back and looked into that data, where it is working for you, where it is not working for you, and all those things. So, and we found that wherever we have been able to start with mock papers 6 weeks ahead of the test date, things have clicked for the student. Wherever we have not been able to do that, normally there's been a problem. So you should start with at least 4 months to spare. So 4 to 5 months is the ideal lead time. Please don't be driven by a compulsion or a desire to do the first available SAT. So a lot of kids would come to me today that we want to take the SAT in August. We simply say no, because that is not the way it is supposed to be done. We would want to have 4 months to spare. Even if you are repeating the test, I would still prefer having about 3 months to spare with us. But for your first attempt, you must have 4 months at least, and plan to devote about 8 to 12 hours each week. Do not play around with this. So please don't tell me that, I've got my holidays this week, so this week you give me an everyday class, and then I'll not be having time, and then I'll pace it off properly. 8 hours a week is not much, guys. You can always take out that kind of time if you're seriously inclined towards cracking the ACT or the SAT. Take your first attempt very seriously. I mean, through experience, I have found that the first attempt is the best possible place for you to score well. So I'll tell you about 33, 34 odd kids who scored 1500 plus with us last year. 70% of them did that on the first attempt, right? Plan your prep in 2 stages. Stage 1, 8 to 10 weeks. This is where we cover up the basic curriculum for you, give you a few sectional tests to solve, give you lots of assignments, and classes are typically conducted about 2 to 3 times a week, each class being about an hour long. Stage 2 is 6 to 8 weeks, right? This is where we make you do multiple mock papers, and the papers are remotely proctored. They're analyzed so as to figure out where the gaps are, what kind of strategy inputs you need doubts classes. Always extend this testing stage. If the testing stage is going to be very short, trust me, it's never going to work for you. Quality over quantity always. That's something which is sacrosanct for the SAT. Is the quality of time that you spend with the prep that is important, not the quantity of time. It's the number of tests that you analyzed very well that counts, not the number of tests that you took. So I'll just give you 2 case studies here. At both these kids from India, I'll not even name the city. One student started in March, had a starting score of 1270 points, did 80 papers, 80, crazy. He was crazy about solving papers. His parents also were crazy about him solving more and more papers. And all that he would want of us is just papers. 80 papers solved over a period of 9 months. Finishing score 1370, which was the lowest score increment that we had last year. The other student, starting score 1340, did just 6 papers. Because of any reason, we wanted him to do more. The 6 papers that he did, he analyzed them very thoroughly. Just exactly as we had recommended that he should be doing it. 1570 final score. This guy would solve a paper, tell us that, I made 14 mistakes. I could self-rationalize 11 of them, and I've got pending doubts in 3. Can we please have a doubts class? Now for these 3 questions, the doubts class would last about 45 minutes, and my tutor would come out huffing and puffing because he would have prepared himself so well that he would discuss the same 3 questions from 10 different dimensions. A few more things. They do not test you for grammar at school. No, the school exams today, the English test don't have any test on grammar. They've converted them to tests on composition, where the spoken word has become more important than what the technical grammar is. The SAT is not like that. And school math and SAT math are 2 different species, though they focus on the same algebra primarily. The approach in terms of solving questions, approaching questions can be very different here. That is what we focus on. Okay, let's go on. SAT subject tests. Not all of you need it. Not all of you need it. So look at them only if your counselor at the school or your private guidance counselor has suggested you to take the SAT subject tests. Then if you have to be taken which 2, again, I would recommend ask your counselor. But in general, the math level 2 is a favorite. Do not choose anything that you're not studying at school. So if I'm not studying history in my grade 11, for God's sake, do not choose the history subject test. It is going to give you nightmares. Prefer sciences and avoid English. That's all I can say. Now, for students who don't have a science subject in grade 11, this is going to be a Hobson's choice to make. But I mean, that's early days. Get your counselor to advise you on what is it that you want to do. What have we done so far? Well, more than 1/4 of our students score a 99 percentile or higher on these tests. I think we have the highest average score improvements in India, but that is probably given the fact that we are a one-on-one prep, highly hands-on, highly customized. Math level 2 is our unique expertise. So over 80% of my students scoring a perfect 800 there, and about 60% of our students score a 5 on 5 on the APs. What is the way forward? Start with a diagnostic test. It's free. We'll be more than happy to offer free of cost diagnostic test to you. To do a diagnostic test, the best thing that you can do is write a mail, or better still, write a WhatsApp message to me. I'll be sharing my contact number on the next slide. Follow it up with a demo class, which is an interaction, where we help you choose among the tests also, where we analyze your performance. We tell you what are the areas that you need to work on. It is free, again, subject to the fact that at least one of your parents agrees to attend the entire demo class. Post the demo class, decide in case you want to sign on with us. You don't have to take that decision before you attend the demo class. The fee structures are published on our website. I can tell you, for an SAT, we typically charge 1,40,000 plus taxes, which is similar for ACT, and for other courses, it's available. For our international students, we charge $2,200 for the SAT or the ACT, which are usually payable in 2 installments. And these diagnostic tests can be taken any day of the week except Monday, which is a non-working day for most of us. So this is the way forward. About the counselors, so many counselors across the globe, they love to have their students work with us because we work in seamless association with all these counselors, giving them very, very frequent updates, about the students, what they're doing. So the kind of forces, which act on the student, they add up from the counselor side and our side, producing some amazing results. So if you are a counselor, you're most welcome to get in touch with me. We would be glad to discuss how we can work in unison towards, better scores for our students. So, I mean, across the globe, we work with so many counselors as associates, and which is a very, very close association with a lot of. So we provide periodic feedbacks to the counselors. Also, if they have any specific requests about any of the students who need a specific attention. For example, we work with quite a few students who are differentially abled and have a very different requirement. We also work with lots of sports persons, because sports persons always have a huge demands on their time because of the sport that they're playing, and from their school, because the school academics are important. So it calls for a lot of flexibility on our part in terms of scheduling classes, adjusting classes, and we happily do all that, which is our core expertise here. This is the contact information. You can WhatsApp me at this number, or you can visit us at my website, or you can email me. You can take screenshots. This for the most convenient, flexible, personalized SAT, ACT preparation that can be taken right from your living room in a one-on-one environment. That's how we define ourselves. So I think that's what I had to discuss. I'll be taking questions now. So many of them. Okay, 56 at the last count. I'll answer all of them. Don't worry. I think we have the time.
Yes.
So I'll read out the questions also.
Okay.
With a shift in the application process, SAT scores have lost importance and co-curricular activities have gained importance. Do you think in the near future SAT scores will not even matter? That's completely untrue, because SAT scores provide the only common benchmark to the admission officers, right? So this is one test which everybody has taken in the same environment. Even if you look at the tests today or universities today, this year, given the COVID, they are going test optional, they are not going test blind. And these are two very different animals. Test optional says that if you do not have a score, we will consider your application. And test optional is nothing new. There's so many universities, NYU, for example, which have been test optional for multiple years now. There's a huge evidence to show that at these schools, at these colleges, students submitting a score have a huge advantage over students not submitting a score. So, I mean, even University of California went on to say in the headlines that we will not be looking at the SAT, ACT scores. 2 days later, they published a clarification on their website, and you can check it from the UC's website, that they are test optional and not test blind. They're not test blind, right? So it will always help you to have a test score with you, especially in a situation where two students from the same school, one of them submitting a test score, one of them not submitting a test score, the one with the test score would always have a huge advantage. And again, I would recommend, before being driven by the headlines, please go to the university websites and check out what is it that they have to say about the test optional policy. Nowhere does it say that we'll not look at the test scores. So I think this is is your team present in Raipur, Chhattisgarh? No, I mean, we work online. So we are based at Noida, New Delhi, NCR, India. But we work with kids from across the globe. We currently work with students from Raipur, Chhattisgarh as well. Personalized course available for the 9th grade as well. Yes, for the APs you can sign on, but for the SAT you can talk to us. We'll discuss it on a case-to-case basis. But we generally discourage starting for the SAT that early. How to take the AP? I've not covered APs at length during this one, but APs are done only once in a year. In the month of May, they're conducted by College Board. APs are offered in India by College Board, so you can check the College Board website for the AP sections. Almost 20 cities in India, they offer the AP exams. Which exam is better, SAT or ACT? Which one has a higher weightage? The two tests are completely replaceable. Any university which takes the SAT will also take the ACT. So there is no advantage from the admission perspective which one of these has over the other. Also, you're not required to do both of them. You're supposed to do just one, which does the trick. So you have to figure out which is the test that would better suit you, an SAT or an ACT. Of course, the best way is to do a diagnostic test and figure out. But the two tests are completely replaceable. Just a minute, let me move down. Which AP do you think reflects the best on the CV, and do SATs look better or ACT? SAT or ACTs are equivalent. There is no difference between these two. APs, again, depends. I think you'll have to check with your counselor. Students take an AP for a variety of reasons. So if you have done an HSC or an ISC curriculum, then those curricula are not considered at par with the international curricula. So in order to prove your academic equivalence, you might be required to take the APs. Consult your counselor for this. IB students are not required to take the APs for this reason, but they might take the APs to show, that they have set up a more challenging academic curriculum for themselves. So when IB students take the APs, they would be taking them in subjects that they are not studying at school. When non-IB or IGCSE students take the APs, they'll be normally doing it in the areas that they're still, studying at school. That answers the next question also. Why is the AP required? Okay, let me read a few more. Can we take APs for subjects for which we don't apply for in college? Yes, you can. You can. Depends upon what background you're coming from. So there's not a one size fits all answer to this. This is something which you'll have to check with your counselor. Can you take extra AP classes in grade 11 if I have taken? Yes, you can do. Depends upon how much hours you can, devote towards this. You can take extra AP courses in grade 11 if you want. And some students also take AP courses at the end of grade 12 just to earn college credits. That is the other advantage that the APs have. If you've taken the AP exam, say you've done an AP in Calculus BC. Now, when you go to the college in the first year, you'll not be required to study Calculus BC. Your AP scores would be substituted for the Calculus program, Calculus 101, that you're supposed to be studying there. So lots of kids do multiple APs and they actually end up saving on 6 months of tuition fee, which is a lot, and ending up finishing off their degree in 3 years and 6 months instead of 4 years. I'm in grade 12, but I have not given an SAT. How do I get myself to take the test? As early as possible. The test is next in August, which is too early, but you can, of course, prepare for the October one. Will your course be helpful even if I'm planning to give the SAT in August? We normally will not accept a student who's wanting to take the test in August. So there's too little a time for us. Can we take SAT in class 12? Yes, you can, always. How do we take the APs? It is not in our school. Yes, you can of course take the APs. In India, you can take, because in India, APs are not offered as a part of the school curriculum. You can go and take it at so many independent centers. Check the College Board website on APs. That will give you all details. Does the school academics matter to get into this course? Not with us. We can work with students of all capabilities. That's okay, so long as your aspirations and capabilities match. I have a question which I cannot understand. What does it mean, JYU? Can you take an AP in the subject or only the ones you want to? You can take whatever subject you want to. It is completely up to you. So there's no need that you should have studied this at school. Can you please explain more about APs since I'm in 9th grade and think that it is important for me? Well, I'll request the Next Genius Foundation to do one more webinar later on, which is specifically about APs. So today, I think with the kind of time constraints, I cannot really go into APs at that.
Definitely.
Yeah, so you can take APs in 9th grade, start with something like a psychology or a human geography or environmental science, which are the simpler APs. Yes, another question about APs from 9th grade. Try psychology, try human geography, try environmental science. These can easily be taken in grade 9. There are centers in Bangalore. Yes, definitely. So a lot of questions about the APs, I think. Is your team in Indore? No, our team is only in Delhi, but we work with kids globally. So we don't have to be in your city for you to work with us. PSAT without preparation, why so? Because those exams have got no relevance whatsoever. So no point wasting time on them. Even if you prepare for the PSAT and get an excellent score, what do you do with it? There's no way you can get into a college. No college would even accept a PSAT score. The only point where they can be useful is if you're targeting some of the competitive summer schools that might require the PSAT. How can you guide? I'm in a class 12. I can't take the SAT. Please write to me. We'll take this further. Do you have to take SAT or ACT both, or you can take one? You have to take only one. Never try to take both. You can apply for my course by writing to me and taking a diagnostic test. Is the weightage of SAT and ACT same for every university? Yes, it is same. My child wants to do the BS in India or Dubai and go to the US for masters. He should take the tests or classes. See, now for BS in India, most of the private universities again accept the SAT. This includes Ashoka University, CREA, Flame, Bennett, Shiv Nadar. So SAT is the test to do even if you want to study in India outside the regular, Government of India universities. Is there a course for grade 10 students? Yes, we have subject to a diagnostic. Course for 9 students? Yes, we have subject to a diagnostic. I'm in India currently in class 12, haven't given an SAT. I wish to do so. Can I still take the test? Yes, you can still take the test in October this year. Please do write to me and we'll take this forward. What is the fee structure for different courses? You can visit my website, saturnpaper.com. All the fee structures are set out over there. Best month to join this course is whenever you want to. You should have about ideally 4 months to go before the test date. How do we know which exam is better for us? Do a diagnostic test and then we will, figure it out for you as to what test is going to work for you better. Do you think that Indian students should still appear for the SAT, SAT paper even if they do not want to study abroad? That's right, in case they're targeting any of the admissions to Indian private universities, the ones I named just now. Then SAT, because for 10 different universities, you cannot take 10 tests. It's always good to do one test which is acceptable to everyone. What are the benefits of taking an AP? People do APs either to build their profile or to prove their academic competence or to earn college credits. I'll very strongly recommend you visit the College Board website. That will talk about all those things at length. What if we are below average at school academics? Then would you still take us in? Yes, we would take you in. I mean, definitely, but depends upon what kind of sincerity you bring to the table. And SAT is not much correlated to your school studies. I have so many people who do brilliantly at school studies would not do very well at the SAT. I would have multiple students who would not do very well at the school studies but do brilliantly at the SAT. Duration of this course, I told you, anywhere from 3 to 5 months. Key considerations, what were the 2 stages for? The first stage is a prep stage where we actually give you a lot of classes and teach you the entire thing. Stage 2 is when we make you do multiple mock papers and review those. If I want to go and study in England, do I have to take the SAT and ACT? Normally not, please check with your counselor. Some colleges do not require the SAT and ACT, but taking these tests will be eligible for a scholarship. This test will not get you a scholarship anywhere by itself. What if I'm strong at English, then should I take English for SAT? Depends. I mean, again, please write to me. This has to be discussed case to case basis. How to take the SAT? Visit the College Board website. This test is done 5 times a year. Would subject test be recommended for students who are building their career in arts, music and film? You have to check with the counselor. Normally not. What if I'm planning to study business, then should I take science for the SAT? Again, you have to do 2 subject tests if you can do them outside sciences. And it does not depend upon what you're planning to study. It depends upon what you have studied. Why not take the English test? The English SAT English subject test is an extremely low scoring test. So that's something, again, if you do some Googling about that test, you will figure out. What if we have only 1 month to prepare? We'll not be able to help you. Price is available on the website. For a SAT or ACT, we typically charge 1,40,000 plus taxes, which is payable in 2 equal installments. Do you offer classes for AP, US history, world history? Yes, we do on a case-to-case basis. We have only 1 month to prepare and really need to prepare for the SAT. You can write to me. We'll see if we can do something for you. I'm planning to give SAT in September. Is it okay to apply for the classes right now? Yes, you can. How to find authentic papers and where to find them? That's a question I cannot answer. That's a trade secret. Why avoid English subject test again? I mean, try and see if you can find other options. English is a low scoring test. The average score on the English subject test is about 100 points lower than the math level 2. Is November 5 a good time to take the SAT? There is no SAT on November 5, only the subject SAT. So SAT next we have in August, September, October and December. You have ample time for the December test. Yes, we do a diagnostic test to find out if the student is better suited for ACT or SAT. This question from Mr. Pratham. You can just write to me and we'll schedule these free of cost diagnostics for you. What if I'm not sure which university I'm going to, then which test should I sit for? The test that you should sit for does not depend upon the university that you're going to. So all US universities except the SAT as well as the ACT, you have to find out which one is better for you. My daughter is in 9th grade IGCSE and might be going for IB and showing inclination towards medicine career. Start engaging with you and take the diagnostic test. What is the right time? End of grade 10 is the absolutely correct time to start engaging with us. As I told you, the day you end your grade 10 exams is the day you start your SAT or ACT prep. Our APs are available for 9th class students? Yes, they are. How to score well in the SAT essay part? Yes, we do cover SAT essay. It's a matter of some practice. The other thing that you got to realize that SAT essay is actually not an essay. You know, it is a commentary. So you have to look at it in that direction. Okay, I have another 10 minutes with me. Yeah. Is it required for CBSE to take the APs? Your counselor will have to answer that question. Will this PPT be uploaded somewhere? I think Devika would answer that one.
Yeah, so you can share the PPT with us and we can share it with the registrants.
All right. I'm in grade 9. Can I still give my APs? Yes. What exactly our SATs are like? They're basically a test of English and math. It's not a very difficult test. We have a course for class 9 PSET. We don't really recommend it, honestly. But if you still do want to give us some money, you're most welcome. Benefits of taking the APs, I think I've answered that. Scholarships or discounts available with us on a case-to-case basis. You can check with us. Depends on parental income. You can take the SAT in September, why not? What is more credited, CVs, APs in subject you are taking or APs in subject you're not studying at college? Depends upon what curriculum you are from. If you're an IB student, then you should not take the APs in the subjects that you're studying at college. If you are CBSE or ISC, you should take APs in the subjects that you are studying at college. How to take APs if not in our school? That's okay, I've answered that one. Have the APs already been taken in 2020? Yes, they are. They're done just once in a year in May. Is 1780 a good score for Ivy colleges? 1780 in what? The SAT is out of total of 1600. How long is this test result valid? 5 years. Can a 9th grader take a diagnostic test? Yes, you can. No problem taking a diagnostic test. What papers are there for Bio and Chem? You have the subject test also in Bio and Chem and APs also in both Bio and Chem. I am in class 10th and wish to take a foreign university. What preparation can I do for the same? You can always take the SAT. Any specific time when your course starts? No, because we have one-on-one, we can start whenever you want to start. SAT, what is the full form? Scholastic Aptitude Test. Taking a diagnostic test in grade 9 be useful for grade 11? Yes, you can take one right now in grade 9 and then repeat again as you reach grade 11. Pricing for the program available on the website. Do we need to submit all our SAT scores to colleges? Ideally, yes. Are these tests important for medical as well? As in the US, whatever you want to study, you have to take one of these tests. They don't have different tests for medical and engineering. How to apply for scholarships in colleges? Well, you need a very good score for that. I think your guidance counselor will have to guide you on that. If you are not a science student, should we prefer English? Try, see if you can do something else. Try and find out if the subject tests are required at all or not. What is the score required to Ivy League University? About 1520, 1530 minimum is what you'll need, or about 34 points on the ACT. Of course, we train for that all the time. Depends upon the student. The last 2 or 3 questions I'll take. Does taking AP make you eligible to apply for scholarships in the US? No. I'm in class 12. Can I take SAT in December? Yes, you can. Does ICSC or IB make a difference in SAT? No, it doesn't. Is SAT better for American colleges? No, the two of them are equivalent. What is the main difference between ACT and SAT except the digitalizer version? ACT is easier test, but it's a test of speed. SAT, you got more time, but the test is slightly complicated. Is the SAT essay important? Not much. I have scored 1790 in SAT. 1790 you can't score in SAT. It's out of 1600. What range of marks should we get satisfied in? Depends upon what are the kind of colleges that you're targeting. How many times do APs occur each year? Just once in May. If you take multiple SATs, do they take the average or the best score? They'll normally take the best score. I was in 9th, I haven't given my AP. Will I have? APs are not necessary for you to take. I mean, you can take them if you feel like. What courses do you have for AP for grade 9? We offer psychology, we offer human geography, we offer statistics, we offer environmental science. What is the score required for Harvard University? People get in at 1520 also, and people get rejected at 1600 also. It depends upon other thing apart from the SAT that you've done. Yes, 1500 plus SAT can take you there. Can a class 12 student take the SAT in December? Yes. Real practice papers, yes, we have them with us. I can't tell you where do we get them from. What grades do you take admission for? Normally, the best time to start is when you add your grade 10. Do you have a website or a phone number? I think both of them are available on the screen here. In US, all SAT attempts with scores are shown to the universities. Does the same apply to India? No, normally they'll take the highest only. How can you prepare for SAT on your own? Yes, you can. Multiple resources are available. All right, thanks a lot for being such a wonderful audience. I never knew how we spent the last 55 minutes. If you have still more questions, you can write to me on my email. If you're interested in doing a diagnostic test, write to me on the email or on the WhatsApp, and we'll schedule them for you. Anything else that I can help you with, please do let me know. We'll be the most eager to do that. And thanks a lot, Devika. Thanks a lot, the Next Genius Foundation, for giving me this opportunity. You guys are doing an amazing work. Please continue with that. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye. See you.